My son-in-law, who's the homicide detective, goes, I don't think it would have been a deal for her.
Travis obviously not here.
Yeah,
He's not here, but I'm having to
to
sit in the
highway,
in the
so I
hot
was taking
seat.
him to his dad.
I got to remember what
We
I'm
came
supposed to
through
say.
Salem to get on
I don't have Jeremy to whisper
interstate,
to.
because I figured, because I heard that bed block was landing on almost highway, so I thought,
I just try to
okay,
keep up with what page we're
I'm
on.
gonna take Salem,
Yeah.
go down, 'cause I'm not
And we're
getting
gonna
sick over there.
do all of our voting stuff
When we
first.
got there to the bottom of the hill, right there at the stoplight, it was all happening, Medlock was landing and everything, and it was like, what in the world, and then
They were
it was all calm
everywhere.
for
They were
a
everywhere.
good
We
Yeah.
2
couldn't.
hours.
We had the
I was
busiest
working,
Sunday we've had in a long time
and
because
all of a sudden,
of
next thing you know,
just
unicorns
people in
everywhere.
town.
And I called Tiffany, she lives over at the Ridge Apartments, so she said they're all over the place over here too. I was like, holy crap, I mean, it's past dark, I don't know, if I walk outside, they clear it up. I said, they tell me they're all downtown. And,
I don't know.
this guy was talking to me, he's a sheriff's deputy, and I was like, are they even, is he anywhere near my office right now? And he was like, no, they just caught him out, see,
And then I
he's
just-
laying in the field, and
You still want me to come down?
Look, I'm so
crazy.
He is tough.
I'm telling you,
I want you to indicate.
it's definitely.
Are we ready to rock?
Uh,
Rock. Are we ready to rock?
I'm not sure.
Do we have enough folks here?
Yeah, just
Five for
barely.
quorum?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Because she drove in. Yeah.
Thank you, Sheila. And then Jeremy, you gotta roll out at 3?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we need to do all the voting stuff. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call this meeting to order. Let's do roll call, one. You see it, you got it, Jill?
Yes, I got it.
Okay,
Well,
Good.
hey, everybody. I know you're nervous because Travis isn't here. I actually sat by Jill today. All right, so we need to look over the minutes for September.
I'd like to make the motion to accept.
Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion approved. Moving on. If it's okay, since we're gonna do the voting stuff first, that we skip, go ahead and skip to the financials. All right, and we're gonna knock that out real quick. As long as nothing's crazy, Jill, how are we
I
looking?
think we're okay.
Okay, I like it.
Okay. Okay, balance sheet is the typical balance sheet that we talk about every month. The balance in our bank accounts in there. And if you flip to the third page, 2-year comparison, we were in the red by $12,896.22 for the month of September of 22, as opposed to $43,250.27 in 21.
Looks like
Or more.
Vincent, okay. And, yeah, just the 12,000 in funding requests, so, yeah, that's it. All right.
The general ledger is just backup for the financial statements as well as the account reconciliations. Unless any of y'all have any questions. Busy happened this.
That's good. Well, we've had crazy things, but not with AP. Okay.
Spend some money, get some projects.
We're about to spend money on the turf for the
Ball field.
Softball,
Figure out what that number is.
it's
No
big.
more than 700,
750.
not to exceed 750.
From us.
Hmm?
Just from us.
Yes.
Correct.
I think it's only 20 years, right?
Dear, what, do you know what
Mike's
the
got
actual
you.
number is? I was
All
gonna
right.
say, I was
No,
thinking it was close to
Wrong
3,
papers.
Sorry, I missed the question.
close to 3 for the total.
Yes,
Okay,
it is.
3 million.
Mm-hmm.
Sent that to me last week.
Hey, Rachel, on these outstanding checks, there's one on October 26th, 2021, 3956 for $250.
Is it NOL?
It is? Okay.
if they haven't passed their checks by now, then
Mm-hmm.
that's on them.
Kinda, right, but don't we have to do the report thing if we have an outstanding check and we owe money, like we have to do it this? You know what I'm talking about, where you have to put it in the paper and do all that every time? You don't have to do that? Okay. Well, I'm
You
not
can
gonna,
void it
I'm not
out.
gonna worry about it.
With the bank, and I mean, it's probably not good anymore anyway.
I think it's 6 months for the bank.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Do y'all know who it is?
It's one of the ones that lives in Texas.
Okay.
I don't remember which one it was, but I can void it out.
It's over 6 months. if you would do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So first 2 pages, if we're going to long papers now, we're going long papers, we're staying over there.
No, I like the long paper.
Okay. First 2 pages is just the allocation to the city and to A&P Commission. Our collections for September 2022, total collections were $478,191.17. Over September 2021 at $445,551.89, which is a $32,639.28 increase. And then up over 2020 at $322,718.48, which is $155,472.69 difference. That's a 32.51% increase. Delinquent collections totaled $8,547.81, which is 1.79% of total collections. Collections excluding delinquents totaled $469,643.36, as opposed to 2021 at $422,078.52, which is a $47,564.84 increase, or a 10.13% increase. And then pay simple collections totaled $188,089.30, which is 39.33% of collections. And as opposed to September of 2021, $143,673.59. $44,415.71 increase. Y'all remember on the last delinquent list, a lot of the ones that were on there were like food trucks and smaller amount people.
Everybody good on the financials? Any questions?
Didn't we talk about, I don't know if it was a couple of months ago, our CD and checking on renewal of that and possibly other banks, or did I dream that?
You did not dream
Okay.
that. You did not dream that.
Okay.
The banks have upped the interest rate they're paying on financial items right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so it would be in our best interest to go ahead and take a look at what might be out there. And when our current ones expire. Because I don't know when they expire. So if you would check on that.
I will.
Current CDs expire.
I know the city has a lot of accounts, if not all the accounts at Centennial Bank, but
Check with Mr. Garrett.
I know the last person that did was
Well,
Reggie.
Won't we check with Mr. Garrett? Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And that's on when CDs expire for this body.
The delinquent list is a little long this time. There are 2 STRs on here. We're both on there last time as well. I think it really hurt us today not being able to pull our centennial payments of the day because it's a holiday. So I think a lot of these will probably be in with that.
That's true, yeah.
Especially because Friday wasn't a holiday, but today was. So people deposited on Friday. Because we contacted a lot of people and told them to don't want to be on the delinquent list, get right before the meeting, and so it wouldn't surprise me if half of these people did it on Friday, but not knowing they wouldn't kept there till Monday.
Where's the financials? Or did I miss that? No, I said approve the financials.
Oh no,
Yes.
no.
We haven't done that yet.
Okay,
Can I get a motion to
I'll make a
approve?
motion to approve the financials.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, financials are approved. Yeah, back to this fun list. Yeah, Hardee's has never been on there, so
Quiznos.
I was gonna say, I hadn't seen
Me neither.
Quiznos
Yeah,
on
that's
there.
what I, sometimes look for the anomaly.
yeah.
Minuteman was on this sheet previously, but he, I visited with him several different times, because he has the food truck that was Minuteman in Conway, and he last year went back and looked at all his sales in Conway and said it trumped all of his sales anywhere else, and he was very impressed, and he wanted to get his food truck back here again, and he just told me today that he's closed all of his locations because COVID got him, and then shortage of staff ultimately got to him. But he said it was a pleasure working with us, and that he thinks Conway is the greatest city around.
Oh, that's nice. I like
So on Uncle Tim's food truck, is that possibly catering that was done in the city? Because I know he is outside of the city.
I thought he was at the gravel lot.
Uncle Tim's is out on 286
He's
East.
out past the, Sam's and right close to
Yeah.
the big church out there.
Yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The only thing
Was it an event that he got it for?
well, I know he catered CBC's big thing that they did.
so maybe that.
Yeah, because he also has catering.
And then he may just not know that he needs to file when he doesn't do anything with
Mhm.
us. Because if he's just doing catering, it makes sense that he would do it once and then not think about it. So
Yeah. Well, like I
Same
said,
with the
I
Hungry
know.
Nomad. He did an event, but it was in May, and he still hasn't paid for it.
okay.
It won't be good.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But Denise and code enforcement have been working heavily on several of these, actually get them to get permits, and they've done an excellent job. And I think we've got them all now, sort up. We can just get them to pay now. Then that'll be the good part.
Oh, real quick, Denise, how many have you gotten Airbnb wise for new? Did we get any more new permits for like the rentals? Okay.
And that gives us total of how many?
I don't know. We can talk about that because I feel like that was the same situation the Strange family was in. Right. Yeah, we've only got like 10 or 12 maybe, and or maybe less than that, and they're all being complicated. So I can imagine if there's hundreds of these out there. I mean, we can get together and figure out what works the best.
Okay. Any questions? All right, here we go. I'll request a motion to approve the 30 days proposed assessment notice, 60 days intent to revoke, and the 90 days cease and desist via code enforcement, if any should be 90-day delinquent.
So
So,
moved.
All right.
I'll second.
Okay. And then all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion
Excellent job for that. Way to go.
I know. It's like I read it straight from a piece of paper. I have been practicing memorizing it while I drive. All right, let's see here, guys. What else do we need to vote on?
If we would want to let Dr. Slayton speak,
Hi, Dr. Seuss.
about the eclipse.
All right.
Will you sing Total Eclipse of the Heart for me first? Every time I hear it, I read all the stuff and it's just in my head. Just okay.
Got handouts.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm Dr. Will Slayton. I teach in the engineering physics program here at UCA. I'm also, I don't know how, but I got put on as chair of the Eclipse Planning Committee at UCA. You may not be aware, but on April the 8th, 2024, there's going to be a total solar eclipse. It's going to sweep through the United States. In fact, it's going to, in the map, go from almost Texarkana all the way up through Jonesboro. And we're going to be just about right in the middle of that here in Conway. And so, in general, the city and our university, we need to be ready for that. We've got some time to plan for that event. But one of the things that we're working on right now is the Arkansas Space Grant Consortium has a grant for eclipse planning events, and it can be matched 1-to-1 up to $20,000 total. And so what I'd like to do is ask the commission for help in promoting that event so that we can make some of the match money and be able to facilitate doing some cool things for the eclipse. I'm asking for eclipse glasses because that's the only thing I kind of know anything about. I'm a physics teacher, not a advertising person. And so if there are better ways that Eclipse could be promoted in terms of advertising monies, then please tell me how that would better go. But the Eclipse, how many of you saw the 2017 Eclipse? Did you go up to Missouri and see it? Oh my God, it was amazing. And so it's potentially going to be a very large draw for the city in the surrounding areas. And so according to some of the folks we talked with, at a university that's very similar to ours, a slightly smaller town up in Illinois. They're looking at 30 to 50,000 people that showed up to their region. And so it's quite possibly going to be a huge influx of people. And they're going to stay in hotels and eat in restaurants and buy souvenirs and all kinds of cool stuff. So,
And we already know what time of day this is.
This is going to happen around 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Monday, 8th.
Plenty of time to grab some lunch, spend the night.
You know, come in the weekend
Yeah.
before. There could be things that we've got planned the weekend as well as the day of. So it could be a multi-day event as we go forward with that.
Free toad suck. There you go.
We're working on it.
I think from my talking with folks at UCA, it's kind of like, well, who's going to do something first? And I think pushing this forward has kind of started some conversations to be had on campus as well as, you know, with Conway Parks and other sorts of entities across the region. So this is good. We need to have these conversations.
Southern Illinois was a draw and did a good job.
That's their location there.
I'll also add that it's not until 2024, as Dr. Slayton mentioned, but their grant application for the matching funds is due at the end of this month. So that's
right.
why he's applying
right.
for funding right now.
Gotcha,
Because
gotcha.
in order to get that matching grant, they have to
Right, it's due in the month.
be notified this month.
What were some of the things that they ran into there that they needed more of or made the experience better in Illinois?
Oh, wow. So they had done some amazing things with bringing in some NASA speakers. They were able to use their stadium sort of as a event space. But I think we're also talking with some folks on campus about doing things on campus with some public art displays as well as some symphony works. You know, there's the planets as an example in terms of symphony things that could go on in the lead up to as well as the before the event could happen. So those are some of the things that could be planned.
Will there be some things in the dome at UCA that?
So the planetarium. So one of the things that would the other side of the grant. So the matching funds help support the other side of being able to buy things through the Arkansas Space Grant Consortium. would be a planetarium show. So that planetarium show would allow us to talk about the science and the history behind eclipses all throughout the next academic year. Those are free and open to the public. The planetarium show would talk about the eclipse and sort of the science behind it and kind of set the stage for what could happen going forward with that. And then also other sorts of events that would be associated with that.
What's left of Pink Floyd come and play Dark Side of the Moon.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Having some live music here would be
Mixed with Total Eclipse of the
cool.
Heart.
if we got a contact with what's the band who plays Total Eclipse of the Heart?
Oh my God.
You don't even know.
I do know, but you know, look here.
If we could get them to come,
I know
that'd be
that's
amazing.
the only song I know every word to.
No. I have to Google it right quick. But yeah, so some of the other things that Grant will also support is some tracking on the telescope. So the UC Observatory is going to also be able to track and then live stream that view from the eclipse online. And so there's lots of opportunities there for doing things like that.
What can we do for you?
Well, so as I
Give
mentioned,
him $10,000.
the request is for eclipse glasses that are then branded with UCA
That's
in
what I was
Conway.
getting at,
Yeah.
So things like that, you've got to have the appropriate eye protection when looking at the sun. And so during the eclipse, you're going to be looking at the sun, even if it's just a tiny sliver. It's still so incredibly bright that it could still damage your eyes. And so the eclipse glasses are really important. We would be giving those out at public outreach events, planetarium shows, and things like that. As I mentioned, I put down eclipse glasses because I could understand sort of, okay, this is how many and this is what their cost. I'm not an advertising person or marketing person, and so I'm open to better ideas for how to advertise that event to the public, and especially not just locally, but we can get net pretty large. The folks at Carbondale, they had people come in, even international people fly in to be able to witness the eclipse in that location.
Rachel, how about some money for him to put an advertising plan together?
Yeah, this probably won't be all the money that we're gonna get to the eclipse.
Good. I'd like for us to keep an open mind about this. 'Cause
Me too.
I mean,
Yeah.
this might
A
be,
lot of people
might be the
can
last
come.
one of these I get to see.
Yeah, me too.
That's
Oh.
going to be huge. It's going to be huge.
Thanks. Rachel, and this falls under the scope of what we can fund, like being the
Yes.
glasses, what falls under our
Yes,
scope?
he's asking
Okay.
for seed funding, which is very appropriate
Okay.
for, I mean, they are hosting an event.
Yep.
Would they be logo Conway, so we would have this internal, it'd be like something they'd want to keep around their house?
Yes, but.
You're gonna keep those glasses.
Souvenirs.
Like Dr. Slayton said, they're open to spending it
Okay.
in different ways that might be more helpful to the commission and to Conway. So this is just, they need this funding so they can get the grant and be able to do all of these good
Mhm.
things.
Whatever you need today, I'm making a motion that we do that.
I second it.
I think he's got
And then
10,000.
So that's
also would
10,000.
follow that
10,000.
up with more funding to help promote the city of Conway as a watching venue that has all kind of nice places to eat and stay and beverage.
So I noted in the application, Hot Springs and Morrilton are already with websites and events and things planned. So we need to get caught up, to be honest.
All right, so I've got a motion for to approve seed funding for $10,000 and to go to the UCA College of Natural Science and Mathematics for the solar eclipse in 2024. Do I have a second? I think Sheila, did you give a second? All right, all in
Andy and
favor?
Mike did.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okie dokie. Approved. Hey,
You-
and you didn't even have to sing.
Now that you know who sings it.
It's one of those ladies
Yep.
with the raspy kind of.
Yeah, that's why I could sing it. Yeah, Bonnie.
It's Bonnie Tyler.
Bonnie Tyler.
Thanks to Kim.
I know. I'll give some credit where credit is due. I'd be laying in my bed tonight being like, Bonnie Tyler. All right.
Oh, well, I have to.
Okay.
I need to have-
So Amanda Horton
with Reynolds and the Wingate Center is not able to be here today, so I'm going to present her application on her behalf.
Okay.
As you all might be aware, the new Wingate Center for the Fine and Performing Arts is currently under construction and will open in January 2023. So they are asking for advertising money in order to print a brochure of sorts that they will mail out to people, notifying them about Wingate Center opening. They are asking for $6,324 for printing. They're going to mail 15,000 6x11 postcards to addresses that they already have procured across the U.S. They'll highlight an array of events that will be held in the center during the first 7 months of operations, which will be January through July of 2023. So this will be a really cool new property for Conway that can bring in some different types of art that we haven't been able to do previously. It'll have a concert hall, recital hall, black box theater, a creative quad art gallery, and an atrium. So.
And this will be for 2023, so they'll be sending stuff out.
So it opens in 2023, and so they want to mail stuff out in December, and that's why they're requesting funds now as opposed to waiting for the 2023 funding period.
I'd like
So
to
just-
make a motion that we do it.
Oh, I was thinking that maybe we do half of that amount instead of the full, but if y'all are good, just because I want to make sure we're consistent with all the other people, with what we normally do. You know, sometimes I think when stuff gets thrown to us in the middle, we kind of forget, and I just want to make sure that we're being consistent on this. And I feel like that's actually a pretty big chunk. What do you think, Rachel?
I would agree with you. I think that probably, around 3,000 or a little more than that is probably perfectly appropriate for what they're doing. And this, they're going to do other
More things.
things.
That's what I'm thinking.
They work on a different calendar year than we do. And so they might have other events that they're going to want your help in promoting that fall between July and December of 2023. So this is just strictly for this one mail piece. And I think 3,100, I think that
I'd be happy
that's
to
what
change
y'all
my
want to do. I
vote
think
to
that's appropriate.
No, second.
Okay.
All in favor of the 3,100?
Aye.
All right, the motion's been approved.
Okay. I'll let them know.
Thank you.
Apologies, but I need to head out.
Thanks for showing up today, Jeremy.
Good to see you, Jeremy.
See, Jared.
All right, let's see. Yeah, or that
We
funding
actually have a
events?
funding event.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Oh,
It's behind the big. Oh, I couldn't see him. I'm sorry. I know.
It'll take 30 seconds to pass.
okay.
Oh, that's pretty.
You can share.
You.
Hi there, how are you?
Good, thank you. Thanks for letting me speak for just a minute or two. My name is Brian Young. I'm the director of the Baum Gallery at UCA. In fact, Dr. Slayton doesn't even know this, but I'm already planning for a 2024 exhibition for the Eclipse.
Awesome.
You need some money too? Yeah.
I do.
Will you sing? No, I'm just kidding.
In 2004, when I was at the Arkansas Art Center in Little Rock, I did a drawing invitational, and one of the artists was named Russell Crotty, and he's an amateur astronomer. He really wants to be an astronomer, but he makes his money through his art. And so he looks to the sky, and while he does that, he automatically draws on pieces of paper the night sky, and then over time he pastes those pieces of paper onto these globes, and he suspends the globes from the ceiling.
Oh,
So you
that's
walk into this interactive space. So he doesn't know it yet, but he's going to get a call in a couple weeks.
Oh, that's
So-
awesome. That's awesome.
But that's not why I'm here. I'm here because about a year ago, the Conway CVB agreed to fund the exhibition for which I just handed a postcard, or a portion of it, I should say. Her name is Sig Harvey, British-born photographer. 1973 was her birth year. And she's had solo exhibitions in Maine, Connecticut, even Oslo, Norway, in prestigious museums. It just so happens that our professor of photography, Donna Pinkley, knows her and kind of convinced her to lend her work and also come in person from Rockland, Maine, to not only show her work, but also to give tours to the public, give a lecture in the evening, critique our UCA students' work, host a writing workshop. She's the author of 5 books. And then I put a photocopier, an image. As part of her project, she's also, we're going to project her flower photograph onto the stadium scoreboard. We did it a couple weeks ago.
Cool.
So it's going to be about 30 by 40 feet, obviously free and open to the public. It lights up the whole stadium space. So we wouldn't be able to do this exhibition without 2 things, without the connection of our faculty and also without funding. She's a very high in demand artist. She has commercial gallery representation in Atlanta, New York, Boston, Europe, and she doesn't need to do this exhibition to further her career, but she agreed, and she loves the mission. She loves the idea that we're going to post her videos on the stadium, and so I feel very fortunate. Our attendance so far has probably been somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000. How many from out of state? I'm not sure. Obviously, we've drawn from within the state, mostly other photographic programs, people who maybe have gone to Crystal Bridges might detour through. But as I used to come and talk to this group, I used to tell you that we're the only art museum in Faulkner County now. I know that's not true anymore because of Wingate, Art Museum in Hendricks, but as small world would have it, I happen to know their new director. I've known him for 15 years. So I look forward to working with him, and we'll do that.
Be awesome.
Great partnership. And then the new Wingate building at UCA is going to have a small gallery in it as well, about 1,000 square feet. So the arts are growing, but I'm grateful to your past support, and I would be grateful if you're still willing and able to follow through on the grant for the Sig Harvey exhibition. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Is there any, so I'm assuming these dates are for 2023?
This is actually in fulfillment of the grant that was given about a year ago.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of doing a report,
Okay.
a follow-up report.
Gotcha.
And we have Wednesdays as a new deadline for.
Yes.
Yeah, you might see my name again
Okay. All right.
soon. But
Is this here now?
it is. It's through Thursday. Yeah.
13th is Thursday.
Yeah.
I need to take my kiddos to this.
It's a really beautiful show. She has a combination of rural Maine nature, flowers, trees, water, but then she adds kind of a surreal layer to it. If you know the artist Rene Magritte, who's kind of a colleague of Salvador Dali. And so in this case, there's a figure clouded by these red maples, and you'll notice there's a falcon. The falcon has a hood on it, and the colors all seem to kind of align themselves in a complementary way. So she's a really, she starts out in kind of a magic realist fashion, and over time, she takes this technique called sublimation dye on aluminum, which sounds like gibberish. But basically what that means is she takes her pigments, which are high value, bright reds, bright yellows and greens, and then she heats that and then puts that onto the strata substrate, and that's aluminum. So we get a really luminous thing, so you can see the way that flower picture grows on that stadium lighting. And so her works has universal appeal to very young people, to people who are very sophisticated about photography, to people who are not. She has a universal appeal because what she shows is both familiar and then also kind of haunting. So
So
yeah.
she hasn't spoken yet, so she'll be here on October the 12th. Is that what I'm
She
gathering?
comes,
So-
she actually
Okay.
comes in tomorrow onto campus. And so she's going to give a photography workshop with our UCA students tomorrow. And she'll give a public gallery talk at what we call X period at 1:40 p.m. Also on the 11th in the day, open free to the public. She'll do a workshop with our creative writing students. That'll be on October 12th. And then on the 11th and the 12th, we're going to project the work. And then on the 12th, we're going to have a reception around 6 o'clock. And then we're going to take a shuttle from the Baum Gallery to the stadium. Again, that's all open and free to the public and funded in part by the Conway CVB.
On those, do you have the little questionnaire or anything? I know that y'all usually give something that kind of tells us where they came from, if they went anywhere. Is that something where it'll be able to be out for that, or was it out during the?
We typically don't put it out because most of our visitors are from UCA staff, faculty, and we like to just kind of let people come in and not stop them and not do that. So perhaps I'm a bit unusual that way in that we typically don't do that. Also, if I'm being honest with this group, we don't have as many out-of-state visitors as other groups that you fund.
Okay.
So most of them would be Conway, Little Rock, Faulkner County, that kind of thing. So, and because we get students, faculty, UCA, Hendricks, we feel like people would be burdened because we get a lot of, let's say, repeat visits. So
Do you sell tickets? Like, how do you track the attendance?
we track attendance manually, the old-fashioned way, like with a clicker.
Okay.
And so we do it that way. And we're not so much focused on pure attendance. We're focused on trying to bring the highest quality artists we can as an inspiration to our BA, BFA students, our art students in general, and UCA, and even like Conway and Faulkner County. In other words, virtually every artist I bring in makes their living as an artist through their work, either as a full-time professor, as a creator. So we think that we're bringing the highest quality artists we can. And so we don't do that necessarily to drive attendance, but we do that to serve as kind of an inspiration. And so again, I'm a little bit different than some other groups that might come before you.
Yeah.
Just for clarification,
Yes.
for me, the artist will be in town tomorrow,
Probably gets here tonight, but yes.
but and then there will be a projection of that artist's work. Is that correct? Tomorrow and
12th and the
Wednesday?
13th.
So
12th and 13th.
Wednesday and Thursday.
Mhm.
12th and 13th.
Yeah.
And tomorrow on the 11th, the artist does something at 1:40.
She gives a public talk to, and it's in McCaslin Hall at UCA. Unfortunately, we only seat about 75, and I got a feeling it's going to be beyond that. But as I told the chair of the art department, that's a good problem to have.
And on the 12th and 13th,
Uh-huh.
where will that be?
So the 12th, she's going to give a workshop with our creative writing students. That's not open to the public, but she will give a public lecture. And that'll start around 6 o'clock at McCaslin Hall on UCA's campus. There's also going to be a reception. And then after the reception, around 7:30, we're going to have shuttles that go from McCaslin Hall, which is where the Baum Gallery is, over to the stadium. I mean, it's walkable distance too, but in case people have some mobility issues, that is available for them.
And then how did you advertise this?
We advertised it mostly internally. My budget was cut about 40% with COVID. And so we sent a press release out, and that goes out to all the major outlets. We also updated our Facebook, Instagram. We also advertised to CubHub and UCA Inform. So that goes out to our entire student body, faculty, and workers. And then if other places picked it up, we were also on, I found out from the presentation, but arkansas.gov, is that correct? So we were featured on arkansas.com. We also got mentioned in things like maybe the Democrat Gazette. We had a feature in our student newspaper, and I think the Log Cabin picked it up and Arkansas Times picked it up. But we did not, or at least I did not, purchase advertising. In the past we used to, but with the COVID budget cuts that made it difficult.
All right, do y'all have any more questions? It was nice talking to you. Thank you so much, and this is awesome. I'm glad it's here in Conway.
Thank
It's
you.
cool.
Thanks for allowing me to come speak to you. I appreciate the funding in the past and more about the eclipse. Thank you.
All righty.
So in 2 weeks, I will attend Teams in Oklahoma City. Derek is going to go as well. That's the 25th through the 28th. Still waiting to get our appointment selection so we can choose who we want to meet with while we're there, which events we're interested in. Tomorrow, we have a meeting with hotels, and a representative from the state is going to come in and give them a presentation about the eclipse and how it's going to affect them, how they need to take bookings, the influx of business that they need to expect. And most of their programs, their booking programs, will open up 1 year in advance. And so they need to figure out between now and April, basically, how they're going to handle all of that. Because from what we've been told, well, from our friends in Carbondale, that people will book hotels in multiple places throughout the path of totality. And then depending on weather, they might cancel the reservations to drive 3 or 4 hours further so that they'll have a clearer view. And we don't want our hotels put in a bad spot because they have cancellations if we have cloud cover that day. So those are just some of the things that we'll talk to them about tomorrow at 9 a.m. Last week, we had someone from CJRW come in and meet with some of our attractions in town. I believe we had 13 people attend and talk to them about how to create a listing on arkansas.gov, which is the state's tourism website. Talk to them about a lot of the free opportunities, just making sure that their businesses are featured. They can control their own message on there. It's all approved by a real person. So just a good free way to post about Conway tourism focused businesses, especially. And their website traffic is going to be far superior to that of most of our local businesses, just because they have a lot of money that they spend promoting that. As we mentioned, Wednesday is the deadline for 2023 funding applications. And I think I'd talked to some of y'all about this after our last meeting, but I think that it would be beneficial to a lot of the events if we could vote on their funding in November as opposed to waiting until December and then they don't find out until end of December, if they receive funding for 2023 or not, especially for events that are held in January. So once I get all the applications on Wednesday, I'm going to go ahead and start going through them and compiling your packets. And then hopefully I will have them ready for you all to pick up that last week of October so that you can review them and then we can vote in November at the meeting. It'll be beneficial if we have a budget at that point so that you can vote based on the year's actual budget. So that's something to think about. Have talked with AAA some more regarding All-Star games. I've also told them, we don't have budget figures to give them yet for next year, but they're hoping to get an answer from us in November. We've been talking to UCA about what they need in order to continue hosting the All-Star games. I think they were feeling, the athletic department specifically, like they were putting in a little more work than they were being compensated for. So we've been talking internally, trying to figure out, if we say, AAA, we'll give you this much, but a portion of it has to go to UCA for their time on hosting the event. So just talking with them and trying to figure out how much AAA needs in order to be able to host the games here. But just being frank, they, in our discussions, have said they're kind of at our mercy. I don't think they want to move the games. It would cost them a lot more to move them, I think. So
just trying to figure out what works for the commission and for UCA and for AAA. So, Teen Masters Bowling, which is a teen bowling event, is interested in coming back to Conway. They've been here before, and they would want to host their state qualifying rounds here. It's just a one-day event, but they're only asking for $500. That would come from event incentives. So I'm going to work on filling out their application this week. This ad ran in Sports Destination Management's September, October issue, as well as a listing here. So that was an ad that focused on baseball facilities. Did I left anything out? Any questions?
I don't think so. How are the hotel people? I think you said you got that stuff together and sent that over. And you're interacting with them?
For the hotels?
Yeah.
Yes, we'll meet tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the person that was actually supposed to do it emailed today and said that she was sick and had food poisoning. So someone else from the state is going to come and speak in her place, but hopefully that all goes well. Derek was telling me he had met with the lady that was supposed to come and speak from the state. Her name is Kim Williams, coincidentally. And he said she convinced all of them of what a big deal it will be for Conway as far as infrastructure and crowd management. So
When we were talking about the one city, was it, because that's what I wonder is if they, closer to time, does it just completely switch or will all the cities still hit? Because we were mentioning the one main area. that had all that-
we'll all still be in the path.
We'll
It's just
still-
if
okay.
it's super cloudy here.
So there'll be
for
hotel
instance,
stays
you're
in
not
Hot
gonna-
Springs. There'll be tons of people in this entire area.
Yes, in all of
Morrilton,
Central Arkansas.
Hot
And,
Springs.
you know, actually, I think Dr. Slayton can attest to this. Isn't like the exact point of totality around Atkins? There aren't hotels in Atkins. I don't know if you're aware of that.
There's a really great Sonic in Atkins.
But even
Y'all
if
should
people-
go. I go there all the time.
Even if people are intending to drive to Atkins, to view
Somewhere
it,
to stay.
They're going to be
it's likely that
stopping.
they'll be staying in Conway. So
Okay.
even if people aren't viewing it in Conway, they're going to be really close to here.
14 seconds. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you kind of pick.
Right.
We were going, so when we went, we were going to drive our family, we were going to go to Carbondale and take all that in.
And less traffic. We'll be picked for our roundabout. I mean, our traffic flows so much better than other people.
So we will have lots more eclipse talk to come over the next 6 months to a year.
Big rocks on the budget. We're going to start passing along kind of those big puzzle pieces that we can put together in the interim. Things start to snap into place for us. That's kind of what we're moving. That's what prompted the AAA
Oh, okay.
conversations.
You're not talking about the eclipse, you're talking about, okay.
He's talking about
Bigger
like big
pieces.
picture
Yes,
budget.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can renew our agreement in November. We can make decisions about AAA in November. Anticipate some other types of things. We'll probably be communicating with y'all more in the interim. So you kind of have all those numbers in place.
Okay. Gotcha. I was like, how many eclipse puzzle pieces are there?
Just one eclipse. Just one eclipse. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Rachel. Okie dokie. We already hit up the new business.
Derek's coming.
Oh, hey.
The new improved Steve.
Welcome.
Hello.
So on the sports side of things, we just had our last baseball tournament this past weekend, which was
It
Fall
a
State.
doozy.
It was a good one. I think there was over 150 teams that participated in it. There wasn't a single one of our fields that we rent that wasn't used all weekend. Then we have 3 fast pitch tournaments the next 3 weekends. One of those will be actually Fall State fast pitch. That's this weekend. Volleyball will be starting up At the very end, we're kind of transitioning more into the volleyball side. At the very end of the month, we'll see a few volleyball tournaments starting up, or like practice, power plays, I think is what they call them. And then at the expo this weekend, or during the week, we have Business Expo. And at the end of the month, we have the gun show. And we'll start construction on those turf fields, I think on the 20th, I believe. They should be ready to go
What's
by.
going on at the tennis
March.
courts right now? There's something big going on.
Yes, I saw that today.
Yeah, what's
Do
going
what?
on at the tennis courts?
The tennis court.
Yeah, there's like Harding sign. Oh no, there's tons of people out there. Is that what it is? Yeah. Hey. They didn't even, and they're all over the place. That's awesome. Yeah, yeah. These turf fields. Thank you. Yeah, that's awesome.
Derek.
Good job, Derek. All right, guys. Tell me what old business. Is that where we are? Sure. I was really trucking along real well at doing this, and now I'm like, oh, I don't know. Any old business? How's everything going, Denise and you guys? The flow of things, Jill? Just on the 30, 60, 90. The yellow sheet still working good? Nice.
Oh, good.
Nice. Are y'all feeling like you're spending less time doing it now, or is it still taking up a lot of y'all's? Big list. Yeah.
We have some stubborn ones this month that I don't know if they're going to be a real problem, because they've already caused them several problems. So, but like I said, I do think a lot of these payments will come through tomorrow.
Okay.
They probably did their Hail Mary and did them on Friday, and they just wouldn't come through yet. Lord knows, Tiffany and I have been sending out emails left and right. Tuesday or Wednesday, yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. And then for you, so CDs, we're looking at that just to recap, right? So you're going to be looking into CDs.
Yeah, I'll get with.
Not the true chairman, so I don't have. But what were you going to say?
Nothing.
Okay.
Stick my foot in my mouth.
I'll give the CD information to my office because I have to have it for the
I
audit.
was gonna
Okay.
say, I thought, yeah.
So I'll go back and look at that. And
And
I'll send
then-
an email out to y'all.
Budget stuff, how does that sound? November?
Yeah.
When you have it done? So that, anything else we need to make sure? All right, guys, I think we did it.
How about a motion to?
Adjourn.
Oh, yeah. I'll need a second. Meeting adjourned. Oh, all in favor?